In the heart of Kentucky's rolling hills, where folklore is as thick as the morning fog, a young anthropology student named Evan returned to his hometown driven by an academic curiosity about the local legends that had colored his childhood. His research led him to whispers of a forbidden grave tucked away in an old, forgotten cemetery, a place the townsfolk spoke of with a mixture of fear and reverence. According to the tales passed down through generations, this was no ordinary burial plot. It was a prison, a seal placed in the earth in 1823 to contain an entity that was decidedly not human, a creature that had once terrorized the very foundations of their community. The stories were vague on the details, but the terror they invoked was palpable, a lingering chill that had survived nearly 2 centuries. Shortly after his arrival, Evan's scholarly detachment began to erode. The quiet nights in his grandmother's house were shattered by a series of 3 distinct, heavy knocks on the front door, yet each time he checked, no one was there. Strange, muddy footprints, too large and oddly shaped to be human, appeared on the porch, only to vanish by morning. His grandmother, a woman whose eyes held the wisdom and sorrow of a long life in these hills, grew increasingly anxious. She would warn him away from the old cemetery, her voice trembling, speaking of shadows that walk and whispers that kill. Her warnings were echoed by Harper, the grizzled and weary caretaker of the cemetery. Harper's face was a roadmap of worry, and he confided in Evan that the grave was not a memorial but a cage. He spoke of an ancient Appalachian ritual, a desperate act of containment performed by their ancestors to temporarily subdue the creature after it had descended upon the town nearly 200 years ago. The ritual, he explained, was not a permanent solution. It was a lock that was slowly rusting away. Evan's life spiraled into a waking nightmare. He became a vessel for the grave's malevolent energy, haunted by visions that bled into his reality. He saw a young woman, her form twisted and distorted as if viewed through a warped glass, her eyes pleading, her silent mouth begging to be freed from the cold earth. The whispers started soon after. They were not from a single source, but a multitude, a chorus of disembodied voices that slithered into his thoughts from the direction of the forbidden's grave, all of them murmuring his name. Evan. Free us. Evan. Double quotes. They were manipulative, seductive, promising knowledge and power, while preying on his deepest fears and sympathies. He was losing his grip, the line between his research and the terrifying supernatural reality blurring with each passing day. The entity was not just a local legend. It was a conscious, predatory force, and it had chosen him. The sky broke on a stormy night, rain lashing against the windows and thunder rattling the old house. Evan, however, was deaf to the storm outside, lost in a trance-like state. His eyes were vacant, his movements stiff and unnatural, as if he were a marionette pulled by unseen strings. The whispers had become a singular, overwhelming command, drawing him out into the tempest. He moved through the town like a sleepwalker, his destination singular and absolute, the old cemetery. Harper, having seen the strange light in Evan's eyes earlier that day, had a premonition of disaster. He rushed to the cemetery, his lantern beam cutting through the torrential rain, and found Evan on his knees before the forbidden's grave, digging frantically with his bare, bleeding hands. Harper screamed, pleading with him to stop, to fight the influence that held him captive. But his words were lost to the wind and the will of the entity. With a final sickening crack, Evan broke the ancient stone seal. A foul, cold air erupted from the ground and from the depths of the unearthed grave. A monstrous, chittering sound echoed a being that could perfectly mimic the symphony of human voices it had heard for centuries. The storm passed, and the next morning dawned with an unnatural stillness. The sun cast long shadows across the town, but one shadow was conspicuously absent. Evan was gone. At the cemetery, the forbidden's grave lay open like a gaping wound in the earth. The only evidence of the night's cess horror was a set of deep drag marks leading from the desecrated plot into the dense, dark woods that bordered the town, accompanied by a single set of impossibly large inhuman footprints. A search party was formed, but they found nothing. A collective dread settled over the community as evening fell. That night, as Evan's grandmother sat alone in her quiet house, praying for a miracle, she heard it. 3 heavy, deliberate knocks echoed from the front door. She froze, her blood turning to ice. A moment of silence passed, broken only by the frantic beating of her own heart. Then a voice called out from the other side, a voice she knew better than her own. It was a perfect imitation, a flawless mimicry of her grandson. "Grandma," the thing outside claimed. "It's Evan. I'm home. Please let me in."